Alright, in this unit we're going to start getting ready by going in and opening some of our older stuff and transmuting it over to the engine. So if you remember right, we had a pallet, we had some of these logs, we had a whole bunch of stuff. So in chapter 3, we're going to be looking at the pallet first, and I'm going to be introducing you to a new workflow here that will save you some time. Here we have the unique UVs versus stacked UVs, that example. We're going to be using this model and the actual material. I do not want it stacked. I don't like it. I'll be using this one. Alright, now here it goes. This one does not have the OCC burned into it, so we're going to be doing that. But we're going to be doing it in a very neat way. To get started, let's just go to edit mode, hit A, and go over here and make a new image. The new image is going to be called palette underscore OCC. I'm going to make it 1024 by 1024 because it's just a small asset, okay? But really, it should match the resolution of your color map. Oops, yep. So it has to be 2048 by 2048, only because I made my color map that way. In the engine, you can state what resolution is going to be in game. So it's good to have the higher res, to be honest with you, because you can always tell Unity to dumb it down. But if you have the lower res, you can never tell Unity to upscale it. So make your textures epic. Let Unity do the work as far as the resolution is concerned. Here we go. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is go over here and choose Bake, Ambient Occlusion, No Margins, and Bake. Now, if you remember right, I had to go into GIMP every time I wanted to combine the color map and the OCC. Now I'm going to show you how to do it within Blender and bake it out. Okay, so there's my OCC map. Save image as, and you might expect now what the work in progress directory is for. Okay, in the work in progress directory, I can now get my hands dirty and say this is TGA, palette OCC TGA. Also, what I have to do is find my older stuff, the color map for it, and that is located in a very particular spot, not on the clean workflow. It's under my Unit 3 folder. And here's my unique normal map and color map. Copy those into the work in progress directory. Good. I'll also save this in my work in progress directly. We'll go in here to work in progress. This is my palette. And what I'm going to do with my palette is design a material for it. The material is going to be, it looks like it already has a material, but if I want to make a brand new one, I could. Let's just do that. Let's get rid of all of it. And in here, I can get rid of this one too. Okay, so now I have nothing hooked to it. Good, good. Alright, now I'm going to make a new material, and we're going to call this palette underscore material. For the material, I'm going to have a texture. It is going to be an image move. Going to have color map. It's going to be on the actual UVs. So UVs. And I like that pre-multiply feature. It does turn out a little bit better. And then I'm going to knock down the specularity. Okay, good. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to make a new material, or new texture, sorry. Going to load the OCC. Also attached to the UVs. This time, I'm going to use a feature called multiply. And look what happens. It multiplies the color by that. Isn't that sweet? Oh, come on. That is very sweet. And it gets better. Okay, ready for this? This is even sweeter than that. Okay. Rust texture. Okay, let me find something with some color in it. And I have to go to the advanced features to go to 6 megapixels. This looks good. Oh, I always pick that one with the stupid toothpicks. Here's a good one. I'm going to copy this image and I'm going to put it in my work in progress directory. So in this one, I'm going to save image as. And save. Okay, so that's saving out, and I'm going to go back to Blender and make another texture. I'll load that as an image. Notice it's not even in the Power 2, it's just this stuff. So, oops. There we go. It looks like a big old hot mess. It's going to be on the UVs. Now, if I went generated, that'd be fine too. See how much clarity there is? Because all I'm doing is using this for something else. I'm using it for a soft light. And what's kind of cool is you can lower this or make it to make it a little bit medium. But all it did is add some color into it. Should anyway. Depends on where it is in the stack. So in this case, I might have to put that on the second tier. And then play around with it. Let's try to switch this around to saturation. Okay, there we go. We're seeing results now. Screen's ugly. Multiply is too dark. Divide is ugly. Add is not too bad. Now what happens if I reduce this to 0.10? Ah, there we go. See how it just adds a little bit of color to it? All right. Now the good news is I could take this whole formulation now and burn it over to a texture that I can use. I never had to go in GIMP. Let me go new image. This is it's going to be called palette color map. 2048 by 2048. And I'm going to hit OK. Check this out. This is so neat. So bake it. Textures. No margin, split, automatic, and hit bake. This is going to take all three of those textures and combine it into one texture. There it is. Now tell me if that isn't cool. Okay, we just have to flip-flop some things now. First we have to save this image as. Again, work in progress. This is my now unique color map. And now over here, I can get rid of a couple of these. I can get rid of this one, and this one. And now I just want a new one. Image or movie. Open. Unique color map. Ooh, did I save that as a TGA or PNG? Cancel. Let's make sure that is the right format, shall we? Yeah, TGA. Wouldn't this be nice if it was called palette color map too? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Period. Now you know why it's called work in progress. You can go in here and dirty things up. It doesn't really matter. So there's palette, color map. This is the normal map that goes along with it. It's also going to be called palette. And in Blender, now I can open the color map. Attach it to color on UVs. And I also want my normal map. That is going to be a normal map, tangent space, on UVs, attach it to normal, and get rid of the color. And now if I ever want this file, I can just save it as my work in progress, so it's in there. There it is. Also, if I name it up here, palette, and then go File, Export, Wavefront Object, and this is my now clean assets. So I'm going to have my palette OBJ, selection only, following settings, export. Then I can go right back into clean assets, clean up my MTL file. 'Cause look at that. Wow. That's a dirty MTL file. File, save that. I'm now ready to put it into the engine. Palette. I need my palette normal map and color map. Copy those into my clean assets so I have them for later on. If I ever decide to use a palette, I can have it. There we go. So I got this now copied and onto my final step. Was in the engine. So that's what I'm talking about. It's a very lengthy process, but once you get all your assets in there, it's really cake to kind of go in there and move things around and add things. Now this palette's going to be huge because it was never scaled for the building. This was scaled for another project of mine. Notice it's called palette instead of default. Okay. Sometimes it's called default. Oh, I guess it didn't hold the thing. I tried. I thought by naming it over there in GIMP it would, or Blender, it would keep that. But I guess not. So that leaves me to why it keeps getting default. Okay, I'm just going to go like that. If I hit F, I can zoom right into it. Move that over here. Move that over here. And hit F. And there we go. We got my palette. We'll be placing a different ground plane in here eventually, but for right now, our mission is to get these assets in here. Remember, this has only color attached to it, so we have to go to the bump diffuse and load the bump map for it. And if you look, it came in with it. Fix now. And there we go. Let's move on to the next video. This was a very long video.